Will your family be safe tonight? Right now, at this very moment, a massive atmospheric event is unfolding 30 kilometers above your head, and by 9 p.m. tonight, temperatures across eastern Canada will plummet to minus 15 degrees Celsius. But here is what nobody is telling you. This is not just another cold February night. The polar vortex is collapsing. And in the next 8 minutes, I am going to show you exactly when the extreme cold will hit your neighborhood, which cities will see the most dangerous conditions, and the 3 critical time windows you absolutely cannot miss. Stay with me, because at the 30-second mark, I am revealing the single most important number every Canadian needs to know tonight. That number is minus 18 degrees Celsius. That is how cold Montreal will feel by 10 p.m. tonight, February 11th, 2026. But Toronto, you are looking at a shocking 8-degree temperature drop between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. 8 degrees in 4 hours. When was the last time you experienced that kind of temperature crash? Here is what is happening right now as you watch this. A stratospheric warming event confirmed by meteorologists across North America is splitting the polar vortex in half. Think of the polar vortex as a massive spinning wall of frigid air that normally stays locked over the Arctic. When it splits, that wall breaks open and Arctic air floods south. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. But I made you a promise. In exactly 4.5 minutes, I'm going to tell you the precise timeline for when this cold wave peaks in your city. First, though, you need to understand what makes tonight different from every other cold night this winter. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed the humidity lately? In Toronto, humidity is sitting between 70 and 76% right now. Montreal is even worse at 70 to 80%. Why does this matter? Because when you combine sub-zero temperatures with high humidity, your body loses heat 30% faster than in dry cold. That damp cold you feel penetrating your jacket, that is not in your head. That is physics working against you, and here is the twist nobody saw coming. While eastern Canada freezes, Vancouver is sitting at plus 8 degrees Celsius, 8 degrees above zero, while Montreal hits minus 18. That is a 26-degree difference across one country on one night. Comment below where you are watching from right now. Seriously, type your city name. In the next 2 minutes, I am going to give you a customized timeline for your specific area, and if you are not subscribed yet, the algorithm will bury this information from you next time. Hit that subscribe button because next week I am revealing which Canadian cities will see the heaviest snowfall in March, and you do not want to miss that. Let me paint you a picture of what is unfolding across Canada right now, city by city, hour by hour. Toronto, Canada's largest city, 6.4 million people in the metro area. If you are in Toronto, here is your timeline. As of 5:39 p.m., the sun sets. Within 15 minutes, temperatures drop from plus 2 degrees Celsius to minus 1. By 7 p.m., you are at minus 3. By 9 p.m., minus 6 degrees Celsius. That is your evening commute turning into a deep freeze in real time. But wait, there is something critical about Toronto tonight that the mainstream forecasters are not emphasizing. The 11-day stretch from February 11th to February 20th typically sees the driest weather of the entire month, only 1.47 millimeters of precipitation on average. This means tonight you are facing clear skies and bone-dry air. Clear skies at night mean zero cloud cover to trap heat. Every degree of warmth is radiating straight into space. You know what that means? By 3 a.m. Thursday morning, temperatures in Toronto will bottom out at minus 9 degrees Celsius. Minus 9. That is colder than the average February night by almost 2 degrees. Now, Ottawa, the nation's capital, population 1.4 million. Ottawa is one of the coldest capital cities on Earth. Only Moscow, Ulaanbaatar, and Astana are colder. Tonight, Ottawa faces the harshest conditions in eastern Canada. Your timeline starts earlier than Toronto. By 5 p.m., temperatures hit minus 7 degrees Celsius. By 7 p.m., minus 10. And here is the critical window. Between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. tonight, Ottawa will experience a 3-hour period where wind chill pushes the perceived temperature to minus 15 degrees Celsius. 15 minutes of exposed skin in minus 15-degree wind chill can cause frostbite. 15 minutes. How long is your walk from the parking lot to your front door? How long are you waiting for the bus? 4.5 inches of snow is forecast for Ottawa this month, spread across 6 snowy days. Tonight is not one of the heavy snow days, but scattered flurries are possible after 8 p.m. Not enough to disrupt traffic, but enough to create black ice on bridges and overpasses. Drivers, if you are crossing the Champlain Bridge or the Queensway after 8 p.m., reduce your speed by at least 20 kilometers per hour. Montreal, 2 million people, the cultural heart of French Canada. And Montreal is getting hit hardest. Between February 9th and 12th, Montreal's temperature range is -16 to -11 degrees Celsius during the day. But nights? Completely different story. Your timeline for tonight, 6 p.m. -13 degrees, 8 p.m. -16 degrees, 10 p.m. -18 degrees Celsius with wind chill factored in. Here is what makes Montreal unique. Despite the brutal cold, Montreal actually gets more sunshine hours than Toronto in February, 3 to 7 hours daily. But that sunshine disappears after 5:45 p.m. tonight, and when the sun drops, so does the mercury. Fast. Wind speed tonight in Montreal, 6 miles per hour from the west. Now 6 miles per hour does not sound dangerous. But at -15 degrees Celsius, even a light 6-mile-per-hour breeze drops the wind chill by another 3 to 4 degrees. Your face, your ears, any exposed skin feels like it is in -20 degrees Celsius air. And atmospheric pressure, 30.2 inches of mercury, that is high pressure. Stable weather, no storms rolling in, which means this cold air is parking itself over Montreal and not moving until Friday morning. Now we go west. Calgary, 1.6 million people, home of the famous Chinook winds that can raise temperatures by 15 degrees Celsius in a few hours. But not tonight. With the polar vortex collapse happening right now, Chinook activity is suppressed. Calgary's timeline, 5 p.m. -8 degrees Celsius, 7 p.m. -10 degrees, by midnight -12 degrees Celsius. But here is the Calgary advantage: dry air. Humidity in Calgary sits around 30 to 40% compared to 70 to 80% in eastern cities. What does that mean for you? -12 in Calgary feels warmer than -10 in Toronto. Your body loses less heat in dry air. Your clothes insulate better. But do not let that fool you into underdressing. -12 is still dangerous, especially if you are outside for more than 20 minutes. Edmonton, Alberta's capital, further north than Calgary, population 1.5 million. Edmonton's timeline is brutal. 5 p.m. -14 degrees, 7 p.m. -16 degrees. By 10 p.m. tonight, -18 degrees Celsius. That ties Montreal for coldest major city in Canada tonight. Here is your critical time window for Edmonton, 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., 90 minutes where exposed skin can freeze in under 10 minutes. If you are letting your dog out, stay with them. Do not let kids play outside during this window. And if your car has been sitting outside all day, give yourself an extra 10 minutes for the engine to warm up. Let me tell you something most people do not realize. Jasper National Park, 4 hours west of Edmonton in the Rockies, will hit -16 degrees Celsius tonight. Average February temperatures there are already -11, with lows reaching -16 regularly. But tonight, with the vortex collapse, Jasper could see -20 by midnight. If you have friends or family in Jasper, check on them, seriously. Now Atlantic Canada, Halifax, Nova Scotia, population 460,000. Halifax sits on the ocean, which moderates temperatures compared to inland cities. Tonight's timeline, 6 p.m. -3 degrees Celsius, 8 p.m. -5 degrees, by 11 p.m. -6 degrees Celsius. Not as cold as Montreal or Edmonton, but Halifax has a secret weapon: wind. Ocean winds tonight gusting to 25 kilometers per hour. At -5 degrees with 25 kilometer per hour winds, the wind chill hits -12 degrees Celsius. And that damp ocean air, it cuts right through your jacket. Intermittent snow is possible in Halifax between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Not heavy accumulation, maybe 1 to 2 centimeters, but enough to make sidewalks slippery. Wear boots with good tread if you are going out tonight. Now let me connect the dots for you. Why is this happening? Why tonight? 30 kilometers above Earth in the stratosphere, temperatures are spiking. Yes, spiking. In winter, this is called sudden stratospheric warming. When the stratosphere warms rapidly, it destabilizes the polar vortex. The vortex splits, sometimes into 2 pieces, sometimes 3. When it splits, the circular wind pattern that keeps Arctic air locked over the pole breaks down. And where does that Arctic air go? South. Over Canada, over you. This event was forecast 3 weeks ago by atmospheric scientists. They knew it was coming. And here is what they are not telling the general public. This is not a one-night event. After the vortex splits mid-February, Canada will face repeated cold waves and storm systems for the next 3 to 4 weeks. February 11th is just the opening act. But there is more. La Nina, the ocean pattern that brings cold, wet winters to Canada, is fading into ENSO-neutral conditions. When La Nina fades, it removes one of the constraints on polar air masses. Translation: the polar vortex gets to run wild with less opposition from tropical weather systems. You know what that means? March could be colder than February in some regions. I am doing a deep dive on that next week. Comment your city below if you want me to include your area in that forecast. Here is what you need to do right now, not tomorrow, right now. If you are in Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, or any city east of Manitoba, you need 3 layers tonight. Inner layer, moisture-wicking fabric like merino wool or synthetic blend. Middle layer, insulation, fleece, down, or thick wool. Outer layer, windproof, waterproof shell, no cotton. Cotton traps moisture and will make you colder. Gloves are not optional. Your fingers have high surface area to volume ratio. They lose heat faster than any other part of your body except your ears. Frostbite starts in your fingertips and ear tips. Cover them. If you are driving tonight, check 4 things before you leave. 1. Tire pressure. Cold air reduces tire pressure by 1 to 2 psi per 5-degree drop. Your tires might be underinflated right now and you do not even know it. 2. Windshield washer fluid. Make sure it is rated for minus 30 degrees Celsius. 3. Emergency kit in your trunk. Blanket, flashlight, water, granola bars. 4. Full tank of gas. If you get stranded, you will need that fuel to run the heater. Seniors and anyone over 65, listen carefully. Your body does not regulate temperature as efficiently as it did 20 years ago. If you are going out tonight, go with someone. Do not go alone. And limit your time outside to 15-minute intervals maximum. Come back inside, warm up for 10 minutes, then go back out if you need to. Parents with kids, signs of hypothermia in children include severe shivering, confusion, drowsiness, and slurred speech. If you see any of these signs, bring your child inside immediately. Remove wet clothing, wrap them in dry blankets, and call for medical help. Do not wait. Do not think it will pass. Act. Now here is something interesting. Vancouver, 8 degrees Celsius tonight. 8 degrees above zero while the rest of Canada freezes. Why? The Pacific Ocean. Water temperature off the coast of Vancouver is around 7 to 9 degrees Celsius year-round. That massive body of water acts like a heat battery, keeping coastal temperatures moderate. But Vancouver pays the price in rain. Heavy rain tonight, 40 to 60 millimeters possible between 6 p.m. and midnight. If you are in Vancouver, you need waterproof everything. Jacket, boots, maybe even rain pants. Driving visibility will be reduced. Double your following distance and slow down on curves. Let me give you the peak times one more time. This is critical. Toronto, coldest point minus 9 degrees Celsius at 3 a.m. Thursday. Ottawa, danger window 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight, minus 15-degree wind chill. Montreal, minus 18-degree wind chill by 10 p.m. tonight, the coldest reading in Canada. Calgary, minus 12 degrees by midnight, but dry air makes it more bearable. Edmonton matches Montreal at minus 18 degrees by 10 p.m. Halifax, minus 12-degree wind chill by 11 p.m. with ocean winds. Vancouver, heavy rain 6 p.m. to midnight, 8 degrees above zero. This cold snap continues through Thursday. Friday morning, temperatures start to moderate slightly, but do not get comfortable. Next week, I am breaking down the February 20th to 28th forecast, and there is a major storm system developing that could dump 20 to 30 centimeters of snow on southern Ontario. You need to see that forecast. It is going to affect travel. It is going to affect work. It is going to affect school closures. Subscribe now so you do not miss it. Comment below. Where are you watching from, and what is the temperature right now where you are? I read every single comment, and I will reply with specific advice for your area. One more thing. Check on your neighbors tonight, especially elderly neighbors living alone. Knock on their door. Make sure their heat is working. Make sure they have food and water. In minus 18-degree weather, a broken furnace is not an inconvenience. It is a life-threatening emergency. This is not fear-mongering. This is physics. This is meteorology. This is the polar vortex collapse that scientists predicted, and it is happening right now, tonight, February 11th, 2026. Bundle up, stay safe, and I will see you in the next forecast with that major March storm breakdown. Take care of yourselves and